अनन्तं विभुं निर्विकल्पं निरीहं शिवं सङ्गहीनं यदोङ्कारगम्यं निराकारमत्युज्ज्वलं मृत्युहीनं परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि। स्वाराज्य साम्राज्य विभूतिरेषा भवत्कृपा श्रीमहिमप्रसादात् प्राप्ता मया श्रीगुरवे महात्मने। नमो नमस्तेस्तु पुनर्नमोस्तु। नमो नमस्तेस्तु पुनर्नमोस्तु। नमो नमस्तेस्तु पुनर्नमोस्तु। नमस्तस्मै सदैकस्मै कस्मै चिन्महसे नमः। यदेतद्विश्वरूपेण राजते गुरुराजते। यदेतद्विश्वरूपेण राजते गुरुराजते। Hari, that's it. We will chant from 10th verse in 18th chapter. 10th verse in 18th chapter. Nadveshtya kushalam karma.
Nadveshtya kushalam karma.
Nadveshtya kushalam karma.
Nadveshtya kushalam karma.
Kushale nanushajjate.
Kushale nanushajjate.
Tyagi sattva samavishto.
Tyagi sattva samavishto.
Medhavi chinna samshayah.
Medhavi chinna samshayah.
Nahi dehavrita shakyam.
Nahi dehavrita shakyam.
Tyaktum karmanyasheshatah.
Tyaktum karmanyasheshatah.
Yastu karma phalatyagi.
Yastu karma phalatyagi.
Satyagītyabhidhīyate.
Satyagītyabhidhīyate.
Up to this we had done. Anishtam ishtam mishram cha.
Anishtam ishtam mishram cha.
Trividham karmana phalam.
Trividham karmana phalam.
Bhavatyatyāginām pretya.
Bhavatyatyāginām pretya.
Natu sannyāsinām kvacid.
Natu sannyasinām kvacid.
Pancemāni mahābāho. What happened?
আপনি কিছু পঞ্চৈতানি তো কিছু আলাদা বলেছেন
Huh?
আলাদা কিছু বলেছেন
In my it is mani, both are correct. Etani imani. Panchemani and panchaitani, I think. Both are correct. Pancha etani or pancha imani. You have that panchaitani in your book? Panchaitani mahabāho.
Panchaitani mahabāho.
Karanani nibodhame.
Karanani nibodhame.
Sankhye kritante proktani.
Sankhye kritante proktani.
Siddhaye sarvakarmanam.
Siddhaye sarvakarmanam.
From this 13th verse, another section is starting in a way. I will again show some slides, and what I am I will give you a summary, otherwise these shlokas you will not be able to relate. See, whatever I am showing now, it is to find out where the confusion is there, where the desires is sitting, how to get rid of the desires, what is the redundancy of the desires, and where lies the ultimate redemption from the sanga and bhogecha, that is Katri Bhoktri Bhava. Now, this is one section of Bhagavad Gita. Once we have understood, then the other part is that what are the elements in whenever any action is done, what are the elements of the actions? They will go on dividing that. This pancha imani or pancha etani, whatever it is, these 5 causes, then he will go on enumerating various things. These are the, say, our indriyas, our mind, buddhi, and what is the adhisthana, where is the actual action, how is the actual action performed, and each element they will divide into sattva, rajas, tamas. Say, sattvika buddhi, rajasika buddhi, tamasika buddhi. Sattvika dhruti, rajasika dhruti, tamasika dhruti. Sattvika knowledge, rajasika knowledge, tamasika knowledge. Sattvika happiness, rajasika happiness, tamasika happiness. Like that, everything will be discussed in terms of these 3 gunas. And the important point to be noted is that in all cases, when it is the sattvika part of it, through that sattvika, we are able to go to that transcendence where we are not touched by the whatever happening in our being, whatever karma we do, whatever action we do. To approach that transcendental level is always through the sattvika. This is the important point. Otherwise, you will not be able to link. These are all shlokas strewn around, it will appear like. Unless we understand how things are proceeding block by block. That earlier they were mostly spending on the desire part of it, sanga, etc. Now, how to get rid of it, that they will discuss. And in every case, to reach the transcendental level, we have to first attain the sattvika nature. That is sattvika sukha, sattvika jnana, sattvika buddhi, sattvika dhruti. And through that, it easily takes us to the transcendental level. Why? Because primarily, the sattvika nature means the unified vision. In all these cases, what is happening is the variety we are seeing. It's all infinite variety. But the whole variety is sustained, supported, or appearing in oneness. We have to reach that oneness. Now, by rajasika tendencies to divide everything and see. Suppose we are seeing all differences. Oh, this is my enemy, this is my friend, he is good, he is bad, I want to do this, I don't want to do that. These are all divisional bheda buddhi, we say. Normally, the differential things, the different things will create a bheda buddhi in us, differential notion. Until we discovered the abheda in that bheda, this trouble will not go. Just like the waves in the sea, they are all different. This wave is like this, that wave is like this. But they are all held by the no wave, absolutely still the depth of the sea. They are held by that. We have to get into that oneness which is holding all the differences. In Sanskrit, we call this bheda darshana. Bheda darshana means seeing things absolutely different. That bheda will get transformed into just vaichitra when they are supported by the abheda darshana. That means when that unified vision is there, then that bhedas will not pain us anymore. We will be rid of the trouble. They will neither attract us nor repel us. We will see that in that abheda darshana lies the key. So that abheda darshana is the sattvika property, is to always see the unified thing in the multiply divided things. And tamasika, rajasika is always divide and see, so it will not take us there. And tamasika is still worse because it sees divided and then holds on to something and thinks that that is the truth. See, it is still worse than rajasika. Tamasika is a moha, it's a deluded. Something it will hold on to and will think that what am I thinking is the truth, what others saying are not true. All of us have these tendencies. It will be there. So our purpose is to see that all these elements, sukha, dhriti, buddhi, etc., whether they are getting transformed into sattvika or not. That is the sadhana. So for that we will change all our inputs into sattvika elements. Food we are taking with the mouth, the things we are thinking with the mind, the things we are seeing with the eyes, everything to the extent possible, we have to change them to sattvika nature. Then automatically our being will grow sattvika. As the being grows sattvika, we will prefer sattvika things. It will go further sattvika. Like that it will work. Is it understandable? This is what we are going to do. The 12th verse I will do before I show the slides. Anishtam ishtam mishram cha
Anishtamishtam mishram cha
trividha karmana phalam
Trividham karmana phalam
bhavatyatyaaginam pretya
Bhavatyatyaaginam pretya
natu sannyasinam kvachit.
Natu sannyasinam kvachit.
He says that whatever the action is, there will be three kinds of result. One is ishta, means desired result. Anishta means undesired, reverse of desired result. And mishra means partly desired, partly undesired, that undesirable. That is mixture of the two. Now, this result is objectively, it is so. Suppose I wanted to have the first rank in the exam. In the process, I did not get the first rank, but I stood third or fourth. This is a mishram result. Whereas, if I have failed, then that is the anishtam, undesirable result. But actually, this is the objective result. What we are talking about here is the subjective result. So, suppose the objective result is ishta, anishta or mishra, anything. Our mind should not get affected by that. That is, ishta bodha is in my mind. I am thinking that by getting the desirable result, I will have this, I will have that, etc. That linking to that. The two links are there. One is I will enjoy or I will suffer. Another is I. Egoistic, kartri and bhoktri bhava. These two. So, internally when we delink from that, we will not be affected by that. That is why he says that bhavati atyaginam pretya. It is for those who have not done the tyaga. What tyaga? Karma phala tyaga. See, if it is objective result, then there is no question of for the tyagis, atyagis it is having, and for the sannyasin it is not having. Because it is internal, it is so. So we are not talking about the objective phala, which we cannot do anything. Whatever has happened has happened. But a person who has not renounced the karma phala, that means he is still linking his katri, bhoktri, bhava with the result, whatever is resulting from his action. For him, he will suffer and he will enjoy accordingly with that whatever result is coming. Not only that, there is whereas the sannyasins will not. Sannyasin means who has renounced the ego, who has renounced the doership and enjoyship both. That is the real sannyasa he is speaking about. Now there is a word pretya which has got two meanings. Normally pretya means after death. Preta has come from there. We do the preta karma and all. That is after death. Pretya means after dying. Another subtler meaning of pretya is when we transcend the body consciousness. That is, we are not deha abhimani. That is, for a knower, he is not the deha abhimani. He is not identifying with the body-mind personality. So it can be used in that also. In Brihadaranyaka it has been used in that meaning. Both meanings can be applied. Now when you apply the pretya in the sense of when the body falls, that is after death, then it means some objective result also. Because they were doing the yaga, yajna, etc., thinking that after death I will go to this heaven, that heaven. Otherwise, I may go to this hell or that hell to save that I am doing some yaga, yajna. So they were linking some objective result which is not verifiable. Nothing, nobody has gone to the heaven and said that you come and see, here you come, I am already here. It cannot be verified, it cannot be disproved also. So for them, those who are doing the yaga, yajna with the vasana of after death vasana, something, for them that also will be there. Why they are saying that also will be there? They believe in the after death, all those things. And if they have done the yaga correctly and he starts thinking that I will go to the highest heaven and all. For him, it is affecting his mind. That means the result of the karma, it is affecting in his lifetime itself. Or if he has done something wrong, then he will be worried about, oh, will I be fried in oil, going to the hell, like that. So he starts suffering or enjoying right then about thinking about the phala. So for them, these phalas are there in objective sense also. But for the sannyasins, it is not there. Because sannyasins are not bothered out. First of all, they are not doing the yaga, yajna in the sense of with the kama. The Vedic yaga, yajnas are done provided you desire that heaven. Those who do not have the desire for the heaven, why should they do? They will not do. Moreover, whatever actions they are doing, they are not worried about the phala because they are doing niyata karma, whatever is guided by their viveka, whatever has to be done, they are doing. The result will sometimes be good, sometimes be bad, sometimes will be the mix of two. That will not affect their mindset or their anything to do with they are not affected by anything. This is the meaning. The next onward I will go later. Let us see the slides. Today I will, the same thing I will recapitulate in another manner. Yesterday I showed all the diagrams and all. Today I will not show that. It is another way, proceeding in another way of recapitulation. It will consolidate your knowledge more. See, I will go fast, not like yesterday because it is already done. The vision of Bhagavad Gita. Instead of abandoning activities, make actions an instrument for liberation. We have already discussed. If you have any question, you can ask. Yesterday we have discussed. That is, actions normally bind us because we are linking our Kartri Bhoktri Bhava with the result. That is how we are getting bound. Now, for that, if you leave the actions, then your mind is not getting purified. You are losing that opportunity of purifying your mind, getting rid of the sanga and the Kartri Bhoktri Bhava of the mind. So, Bhagavad Gita says you do the activity but change your mindset. The activities don't leave. Same actions you perform, but change your mental attitude with which you are performing. Attitude has to be changed in the manner that instead of creating bondage, the same action will create liberation for you. How? It will purify your mind when you change the attitude. Is it clear? Next. Next slide. Oh, there is a how question. Now, can there be any action not motivated by desire? Desire motivated actions, the root cause of bondage. Now here I have cited the shlokas corresponding to that. Number is given. I will not go deep into the shlokas. It is this case, it was in reply to Arjuna's question that atha kena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha anichchan ivavashneya baladiva niyojitaha. That even if we don't want to do anything constricted, selfish or so, why are we led to do it? Why are we forced to do it? That was Arjuna's question. Atha kena prayuktoyam. By forced by what? That we are ending up doing wrong things, or papam means not always in the sin sense. Papam means whatever constricts our mind is papam. In the religious case, it is the sinful act. And punya means it is a virtuous act. But for a spiritual seeker, both papa and punya or papa, because both will constrict our minds. Even if we do something virtuous, if you have corresponding ego that I have done something great, I have done something good, it is papa. So it will constrict your mind. So papa means whatever constricts our mind. We don't want to do it because we naturally, whenever we enjoy a broad mindset or a liberal mindset, we know that it is very comfortable. But still we stick to some constricted behavior, hurting behavior, etc. He is asking, how does it happen? So the Krishna's reply is, Kama esha krodha esha rajoguna samudbhava. It is originating from the rajoguna. It is kama, and kama leads to krodha. That is why they have used singular. Kama esha, krodha esha. Thereafter krodha is eliminated because kama will lead to krodha. They have not talked about it. Next. Understanding bondage. This we did yesterday. Sanga or mental clinging creates desires. Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangasteshu upajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha kamat krodho vijayate. This we discussed yesterday. So we will go to the next. Removing sanga. He says, Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samobhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. This is a definition of yoga in Bhagavad Gita. Samatvam yoga uchyate. And what is that? Samatva means siddhya, asiddhi, evenness in siddhi and asiddhi. So any action you do, removing the sanga, that means being established in yoga. That is what we were discussing yesterday, that in meditation you are having the yoga, but in the interactive state also you have to get your buddhi anchored in yoga. Now yogastha kuru karmani, when they are saying, it is referring to an active state, not non-interactive state of meditation also. When we are acting, do it established in yoga. How will you do? By anchoring the buddhi into the truth. That is, using the viveka buddhi, you do the action. Act being fixed in yoga, removing sanga. Sanga means clinging to kartri bhoktri bhava, the thought that I will be happy with the result of my action. Next. Take refuge in yoga buddhi. Durena hyavaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya buddhau sharanam anmicha kripanaha phalahetavaha. He says that take refuge in your buddhi. What is that buddhi? Yoga buddhi. What is the yoga buddhi? Same as I said, viveka buddhi. That is, when the buddhi is anchored in the truth, it is the yoga buddhi. You take to that. If you do thinking of enjoying the result and with the ego of performing the action, then you will be the kripanaha. That means you will be constricted. Your mind will be constricted. You will not have the fulfillment. Desire motivated action is far inferior to buddhi yoga. Those who act clinging to gains and happiness remain constricted. Next. Abandoning results. This also we have done. Karmajam buddhi yuktahi phalam tyaktva manishinaha janma bandha vinirmuktaha padam gacchanti anamayam. The shloka we have not done here this time. Acting with yoga buddhi, renouncing the results. Now I am saying renouncing the results, but you have to remember it doesn't mean the objective result. It means the inner result. The wise attains immortality, transcending worldliness. The whole Bhagavad Gita is repeatedly emphasizing this yoga buddhi, yoga buddhi. People refer to as karma yoga. And many say that I am doing karma yoga. Actually what they are doing is karma, not karma yoga. Doing lot of action, activities is not at all karma yoga. The whole karma yoga lies in the yoga buddhi, doing the action with the yoga buddhi. So the emphasis is shifted from the action to the yoga buddhi with which we will do the action. So it is karma yoga means doing everything with the yoga buddhi. Even if you do nothing, do nothing with the yoga buddhi, then also it will be karma yoga. Akarma yoga also you can say, but it is the same thing. The main focus is on the yoga buddhi, not on the action you are doing. Even killing a war, you are killing everybody, and sometimes taking recourse to not so much straightforward ways also. But through that, what are you doing? Your mind is not on that, by that I will enjoy the kingdom and I will become the king and all those things. If that was Arjuna's mindset in the beginning, he mentioned that Ahovata mahat papam kattum vyavasita vayam yad rajya sukhalovena hantum svajana udyataha. That we are going to perform a greatest sin, mahat papam. What is that? For Rajya Sukha Lobha, we are going to kill our grandfather, most beloved grandfather, respected teacher, and our kith and kin. For what? Rajya Sukha Lobha. That was the sanga in his mind. And the whole Bhagavad Gita is to free him of that mindset. Next. Abandoning results. Abandoning result of karma in Bhagavad Gita does not refer to the external result. External result follows causality. It is abandoning the internal result, the preferential disposition of the mind that I will be happy only with the favorable result. Is it clear? We have been discussing every day. Next. This is what we are. What is this? See, everything we do, thinking that by gaining the result I will become happy. But have you seen anybody becoming happy by doing anything in the world? The richest person in the world, the most famous person in the world, the most righteous person in the world also. Whatever they have done, by that have they become fulfilled? Still we will go on thinking that I will get the carrot. The carrot is kept in the manner that as the donkey runs towards the carrot will be always equidistant. So our fulfillment will remain equidistant. We will only become tired. And those who are intelligent, they will put some luggage on us and get the luggage transported. Luggage of grandchildren also. Those who are doing babysitting. But you have to understand that I am carrying the luggage, but not for the carrot. Then it is fine. And keep it down whenever it is the time to keep it down. Keep it down. That's all. Samatva, even-minded towards success, failure, gain, loss, sukha, dukkha. This I explained that actually you work from joy, not for joy. The moment I said that actually we think that the fulfillment desire will make us happy. But actually it is the desire which makes us unhappy. And the moment we are able to eliminate the desire, we are happy. So eliminating the desire when we work, it is not that after completion of the project I will get some result and then I will become happy. It is by eliminating that desire, sanga, tirtha, bhoktritva, we are immediately, the mind becomes placid. Immediately we are in the joy. And from that joy we do. Whatever comes we do, whatever to be done we do. So we work not for joy, but from joy. These are already I have explained. The different key two is Yajna bhavana. That is the Yajna attitude. Yajnathat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha tadattham karma kaunteya mukta sangaha samachara. This I have explained. That whatever karma you are doing, do it with the attitude of yajna. That is as an offering to the Lord or removing your ego and bhogecha also. If you do otherwise, it will always bind you. Karma bandhanaha anyatra. Tat artham karma kaunteya. Tadartham means do it not for madartham but tadartham. Here tat means the truth. Madartham means for selfish gain, personal gain, for happiness. Instead of madartham, do the work as tadartham. Ishwararpitam nechaya kritam. That is for the ultimate truth or for the ultimate goal, whatever you can say. Don't do it madartham. That is the meaning. Mukta sangaha samachara. This sanga elimination itself is the liberation there. Actions not performed with yajna attitude create bondage. Act being free of sanga. Consider your actions to be part of the universal yajna of the Lord. Next. Sharanagati or surrender. Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma chetasa nirashir nirmamo bhutva yudhyasva vigata jvaraha. This I have not explained, but what he is saying is Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya. That is, whatever actions you are doing, you leave it to me as an offering to me, leave it to me. Now, Krishna is no longer to take your karmani. Krishna is saying Mai sarvani karmani. Actually, Mai, whenever Krishna has referred to himself, he has referred to because he has pinned his identity to the real identity, which is the universal identity. Whenever he said that you do it to me, you come to me, he attains me, he is referring to that real identity, that he will attain that real. Attain me means what? Krishna in the body is not available now. Whatever he refers to me is that real identity which is true of all of us, for all of us, universal identity. So it means that it is referring to our true identity also. So, Mai sarvani karmani means whatever we are doing, we have to offer it to the reality in us. That means which is not tarnished or touched or tainted by our bhogecha and kartritva and bhoktritva. What does it mean? That means we do everything keeping the buddhi anchored in the truth. Same again, viveka buddhi. Everywhere it comes to the same thing. For that, what we have to do? Nirashir nirmamo bhutva. Nirashihi means not desiring anything. Asha, not having any asha means desiring anything. Nirmamo means not having any mamatva, means possessiveness. You may possess the whole world also, but the possessiveness creates the problem. It is not the possession. You may have 5 buildings also, but the possessiveness about anything that causes the problem. Even it is about a small thing also, it will cause the problem. Surrender all actions to me, being anchored in the inner truth. Adhyatma chetasa, that Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma chetasa. What is adhyatma cheta? Chetasa means by being anchored in the inner truth. Adhyatma means the inner truth, our real identity. Being fixed to that. Fight, being freed of all expectations, possessiveness and depression. Vigata jvaraha means depression. Next. How to surrender? Yata pravittir bhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam swakarmanatam abhyatya siddhim vindati manavaha. This will come in 18th chapter. That which pervades entire creation in all activities, worship that by your swakarma, not guided by desires, ego or raga dvesha. How do you offer, how do you surrender? Because you don't know whether God is there or not. He is not there for you to surrender. So how do you surrender? One thing is the easiest is to becoming desireless. The doing everything without desire means surrender. That is the ultimate. Otherwise, you can think of, as a sadhana when we are doing, we can think of that which is all pervading. Yata pravittir bhutani. From which actually our activity, we are always concentrated, self-centered. We are thinking that I am doing this, I am doing that. But can you compare that activity with the tremendous, unimaginable activity going on in the whole world? So, yata pravrittir bhutani means the whole, all the energy, all the activity is sourced by whom? From where it is coming? That truth. The whole universal activity is sustained by that truth, by that consciousness, by that Atma, by that Brahman. So, swakarmana tam abhyarcha. When we are thinking of that and doing our action, that my activity is only a small contribution to that universal activity. I don't have any personal gain for that or anything of that sort. It has to be done. It is part of the universal Yajna of the Lord. Then it becomes surrendered. And I told the other day also, finally, Through the knowledge, we understand that actually we don't do anything, we are already surrendered. That is the ultimate. Before that, we have to think that all these things and surrender the ego like that. As far as the sadhana is there, we have to surrender the ego by thinking like this. Next. Chetasa sarvakarmani mai sanyasya matparaha buddhi yogam upashritya. See again buddhi yogam upashritya, because the whole transformation is in the buddhi and buddhi alone. Matchittaha satatam bhava. He says chetasa sarvakarmani. How do you offer the actions to that Supreme? He is not here that you offer your chapan bhoga to him. Nothing. He is not there. You have to do it chetasa, by your mind, by your vision. All the karmas you have to do it, you have to offer it by your chetas, by your mind. Mai sanyasa matparaha. How will you offer it? Considering me to be the Supreme. Matparaha means considering me to be the Supreme. Now all other things are supreme for us. Say money is supreme, or getting married, or somebody to give our offspring into marriage, or attending this, attending that. All these are given higher position. If they have nothing to do, then only you will come for the lecture. So we have to give Supreme the supreme position. This is the first condition of spiritual progress. Unless we value it as supreme, how will you go do it? Whatever we value, whatever we have shraddha for, that only we will be attentive to. So till then we have to evaluate that what I have got, what have I got throughout my life from all these things, what are the things, what is their value, and what I am looking for in the perspective of ultimate fulfillment, where do they stand? This evaluation should continuously go on. Then only we will be able to evaluate this goal properly and give this goal the supreme position. Until we give this goal the supreme position, this offering will not be possible. We will still think of doing everything for our own purpose, for our own selfish gains. Taking refuge in Buddhi Yoga. See, again it is saying that the supreme position, how will you give? Taking to Buddhi Yoga, what is that? Through Viveka, understanding the truth and what should be throughout our action. As in the meditation, our aim is to realize the real identity, which is universal, which has no division, nothing. Similarly, throughout our actions also, although we are working in the divided world with all kinds of differences, but beyond that, they are all sustained by that oneness, and our aim will be linked to that oneness alone. Just like the sea, the depth of the sea. Surrender all your actions to the Supreme. Next. Now, this is the ultimate secret. How did it come? In the last portion of the 18th chapter, how surrender becomes real. I did not think of discussing this here, but it has come. So I'm just saying, because this portion I will not cover now. Just before this 18.65, he has said that I have told you everything. Jnanamakhyata. That is, whatever is called knowledge, I have told you everything. Gushyat Gushyataram Maya, Krishna said. Arjuna, I have given you Gushyat Gushyataram, means secret of the secrets. I have given you. Vimrishaitat Asheshena Yathechasi Tatha Kuru. You think about that, you deliberate in your mind, and then do whatever strikes your mind. This was the last verse. That means what? I have given you all the secret, but you have to think and you have to take your decision what you are going to do. So the final judgment is given to you. So that is a way of a seeker, it is okay. But that means the surrender has not happened. He has to still apply his all intelligence to take a decision, and that decision has to be a proper decision. the easiest and the most powerful way, then he gives. He says that sarvaguhyatamam bhuyaha shrinume partha. That then he says that I am giving you the sarvaguhyatamam, the most secret of all secrets. What is that? He says, manmana bhava madbhakto madhyadi mam namaskuru mam eva eshyasi satyam satyam te pratijane priyosime. He says that, what does he say? You give yourself to me, you think of me, you prostrate before me, you worship me, everything you surrender to me. Now what is happening is that so far he was surrendering to the ultimate truth or God or anything. Now the God is appearing before him as the Guru. And he is standing before him. You surrender to me means what? Whatever I tell you, you have to listen to. So the surrender will never be complete unless it is to the Guru. Then it becomes practical, because till then you will do according to your wish, according to your ego, and you will say that I am not doing anything, I have surrendered to God. Yeah, Duryodhana also said that whatever wrong, I never have the intention to, whatever is right, I never have the intention to do it. Whatever is wrong, I always feel like doing it. But oh Hrishikesha hridisthitena yatha niyuktosmi tatha karomi. Whatever God seated in my heart, whatever you make me do, I do. So that is the devil's way of looking at it. That whatever I want to do, I do, and I say that God is getting it done by me. So that will stop when you have a human guru in front. And whatever he says, you will not be able to follow. Even simple things also, you will find lot of difficulty in following. So what will happen? You have to sublimate your ego to follow, and then only the surrender will be tested properly. As such, there is a test for surrender, that you will feel when you have surrendered, you will feel the refuge, the ashraya bodha. Ashraya bodha means that you have taken refuge in somebody, you should feel absolutely comfortable. When we have taken, suppose the baby gets into the lap of the mother, now he is satisfied that. Just like when we surrender, we take refuge in the lap of the ultimate power, ultimate truth. So there should be a feeling of refuge that will be felt within. The ashraya bodha we say. So that is the sign of surrender. What does it mean? Ashraya bodha means whatever happens to you, you will accept. It has been done by God. When I am saying ashraya bodha, it appears then simple perhaps. If I feel the refuge, it is okay. But what does it mean? It means that whatever happens in my life, I will be ready to accept it. I will never complain about anything. I will not complain about any behavior of anybody also. Even if he is abusing me wrongly, I cannot complain. Because everything is coming from God, I have to accept. Then whatever to be done, we will do. That is different. You can kill him also without getting affected. That is different. Do you get it? So surrender means, surrender becomes real when we have to stand before the Guru. God stands before as the Guru, who has identified with the Supreme Self. The Guru has identified himself with the Supreme Self. A Sadguru, a knower Guru, he has identified himself with the Supreme Truth. So naturally, whatever comes through his mouth is a direction of the Supreme Truth. Surrender takes its real practicable form in following the Guru's words. Even in my case, going to the personal lay, when Baba asked me to get married, I could not accept it immediately. I argued and argued for 2 days or so. Then went back and said that whatever you say, if it is your adesha, I will follow. I told you the other day. So I could not accept immediately. I was arguing with him. And that gave me so much of pain that when I next time went there, and I was there for about more than 3 days or so, I don't know where from so much of water was coming. Tears were coming. Throughout day and night I was shedding tears. Only thinking that I have failed in my shishyatva. It's amazing. People there thought that what has happened to this boy? He never cries like this. Throughout the day he is crying. What has gone wrong? Nothing had gone wrong. It is only Tears were flowing and flowing, thinking that I have failed in my Shishyatva. But I had argued. It was not easy for me to accept immediately. So, next. Integration of the three keys. Here we have not kept the fourth key, the going beyond the gunas, the gunatita, transcending the gunas. Because in Malaysia there were 3 days lecture. So I had to make it 3 keys. The pursuit of samatva, yajna attitude and surrender leads to fulfillment. One discovers that everything is one, that is samatva. Entire creation is yajna of the universal Lord, and I am already surrendered. These are the 3 things. Next. Acha, this I have not shown. It is coming after that. It will come. Let us complete it. Let us go ahead. See, normally we say that we are slave to the world. How things are happening? Start from the right. Attraction and repulsion towards world objects and situations. They are guiding our physical body with the 5 senses. That is, the senses are reacting to the surroundings, and depending on the attraction and repulsion, whenever it is repulsion, we are avoiding that. Whenever it is attraction, we are getting attracted to that, following that. So actually the senses and the body and the senses, they are slave to the external situation. Now following the attraction and repulsion of the senses, the mind also generally follows that. When the tongue is wanting that taste or we are wanting to see, the mind also assists that. By that it becomes slave to the external attraction and repulsion. Following the senses which are slave, the mind also becomes slave. And following that, the intelligence under the clutch of worldliness, what will the intelligence do? Whatever the mind wants to do, it analyzes. Suppose a thief wants to thieve. The mind wants to thieve. The intelligence, he will find out how to go around, how to break the lock of the bank, whom to get, how to do the spying. All these things the intelligence will do. But for what? For satiating the senses, which is gaining the whatever is attractive or avoiding whatever is repulsive. So the whole being is slave to the world objects. Is it not so? Next slide. We have to reverse this whole thing. What are we doing? We are anchoring our intelligence in our true identity. How do we know our true identity? Even if we don't have about it, we have to see the common characteristics which everybody likes. Suppose love. Everybody will like. We want to get love, but actually when we love everybody, we are the most happy person. By loving, it fulfills us. We really don't want love from others, as we generally want that somebody is not loving me. I want love from here and there. That is our miserliness. Instead of looking for love from anybody, when we start loving everybody, then we get fulfilled. That is absolutely fulfilling. So the love is a parameter of the soul because it is common to all. Similarly, we like expansion. Normally we may be isolated, we may be selfishly doing, self-centeredly doing, but you will find that always in a teamwork, if there is no ego clash or so, we feel so happy. We cannot stay alone. If we send you alone in somewhere, you will not be able to stay more than a few days. Even a few days you may not be able to. We like a community life because we want the expansion. We want to be together. That is our primary quality. So expansion is the primary quality of the soul. Because the soul is universal, our real identity is universal, we always want to expand. Because of slavery, greed and hatred, we are not able to hit that expansional attitude of our soul. This is we are calling inner voice. It is always there. Nobody can say that it is not there in me. Whenever something wrong, something selfish, you know from within that it is so. And that makes you feel weak, feel heavy, feel small. All those feelings will come. Whenever you are doing something very noble and great and liberal, you will find that the inner voice is supporting. You feel strong inside. Although outside you may lose, by that action you may lose property, you may lose position, many things may happen. But inward you feel the strength when you go the right way. So this inner voice, that is the voice of the Viveka, the Buddhi anchored in the soul, is always there. We don't heed it because of the slavery to the greed and attraction and repulsion. We say raga dvesha simply. Raga means clinging to what we like and hating what we dislike is dvesha. So because we are slave to the raga dvesha, we are not heeding the inner voice. But once we start heeding the inner voice, the Viveka voice, what will happen is that it will become louder and louder. Suppose once you listen to it and do, and you find that, oh, by that, although I may have lost something, but inward I feel much stronger, I feel expanded, I feel lighter. So that will help you in heeding the voice the next time also. Like that, if you do, whenever we are heeding the inmost voice, you will find that it is becoming louder and louder by listening to it. So after some time, it will become your nature to always listen to the Viveka and not being slave to the senses or so. So it will guide you always. So this is the mastery, the master of the world. How do you become? The life anchored in real identity. How do you get anchored in real identity? Through the Viveka, intelligence following the Viveka. That's the Viveka. Intelligence itself, when it is anchored to the truth, is called Viveka. And that intelligence will guide the mind. So the mind will listen to the Viveka. And because the mind, without the association of the mind, the senses cannot do anything. Senses also will be guided by the Viveka. So the whole guidance will be from inward outward. So it becomes a mastery. And not only that, it will not have any clash. Normally, even if you are following the senses and all, the Viveka is still telling you that it is not the right thing to do. Then there is a clash between the mind and the intelligence. So always we have that rubbing conflict within going on. That conflict-free state is the most harmonious state of our being. Next. So this is from Kathopanishad, this is the picture that our being is this chariot where the soul is the master of the chariot, the intelligence is the sarathi or the charioteer, the horses are the senses. That is why we have shown 5 horses, which is normally never there. It will be even number of horses generally. We have shown only 5 horses because of the 5 senses. And the horses are controlled by the mind, which are the reins. Now, why it is like this? Because intelligence doesn't have a direct control over the senses. Intelligence has to control through the mind, because the senses are always linked to the mind, not to the intelligence. So if the mind doesn't listen to the intelligence, then the horses cannot be controlled. They will be controlled by the mind. So to lead the chariot to its goal, what should be the order? The charioteer or the driver, he will have to ask the master of the chariot, where do you want to go? So he has to get anchored to the identity. He has to go inward, not outward, looking at the grass. That the horses will look at the grass and everything. But the charioteer has to look to the master, where do you want to go? And he has to drive it accordingly. Then the intelligence will pull the reins accordingly, the mind. And the horses will follow that. Now the horses have to be, for to have a proper harmonious chariot, moving chariot, first the horses have to be trained to some extent, disciplined to some extent. Otherwise, even if you pull, the moment they see anything attractive to them, they will run away. So some discipline has to be given. Then the mind has to, as the next slide you show. Disciplined senses following the mind, mind guided by the intelligence, intelligence guided by the inner voice, actually Viveka we can write, lead us to the integrated personality which can reach its goal. Now the fact is that, do we have the next slide, the disciplines? What are the disciplines? No, leave it, go back. Now, the senses have to be disciplined by, the horses have to be organized and disciplined by their corresponding discipline. Right from the beginning, the senses want to indulge in many things, but we restrict them. That suppose eating too much of sweet or whatever, the children, it is very common that they will not take any of the nutritious things. They will be only attracted to the sweet things or so. The mother has to guide. So some discipline comes from there itself. So the physical disciplines have to be given to keep the senses under control. For the mind, there is mental discipline. What is mental discipline? Not to allow the mind to do whatever it wants. That means always if you leave the mind to do according to whatever it wants to play, so you play. It doesn't want to study, you don't have to study. So the mind has to be given mental discipline. Not only that, along with the discipline, there is a question of nutrition also. To make the horses powerful, you have to give the corresponding food to them. To make the mind powerful, you have to give the mental food proper, which will make the mind stronger. To make the mind stronger, you have to give certain disciplines and certain nourishing food. What is the nourishing food for the mind? Read good things, discuss good things, which will strengthen your mind, which will make your mind liberal, which will take away the selfishness, the constrictions of your mind. Similarly, the intelligence also, to have a proper intelligence, we have to give nutrition to the intelligence and discipline to the intelligence. That is what we are doing here. What are we doing for 1.5 hours or 1 hour 15 minutes? We are trying to understand something which normally we will not. To understand that, intelligence has to be activated in a subtle manner. Even in our studies also, whenever some subject is difficult and that is not absolutely mandatory in the exam, the students will leave it. They will go the other way. Is it not so? In our MSc classes, always statistical mechanics, nobody would like to learn because there's a lot of abstraction to be done to learn the subject. So people avoid. Whenever there is abstraction, people avoid. So intelligence can be sharpened and made subtle only by activating it in a subtle manner. So such discipline, such reading, such thinking, analysis has to be given to the intelligence so that it becomes subtle. Is there anything more to show here? The waves and all, no? Go over to that. The other things can be, go one by one, let me see. No. This I wanted to show. See, we call it wave identity and sea identity. That is normally our focus is on the differences. That number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, all the waves are identified with some name or number or so. And each is feeling that I am different. Suppose number 5 is feeling that I am great, I can eat away all those small elements, 1, 2, 3, 4 or so. Or the number 2 is suffering from inferiority complex, that I can be destroyed by any of them, eaten up by any of them. So they have fear, jealousy or hurtful tendencies, everything as a difference. So as long as ignorance about the vast inner dimension makes the mind selfish, egoistic and fearful, all these qualities will come as long as we consider ourselves to be separate identities only. But as I explained in the beginning, that abheda darshana, that see identity, that oneness from where it is coming, that is what we were again going to discuss, that the sattva guna always reminds us of the fundamental, the underlying, the substratum, oneness of the substratum, oneness of the sustaining, the oneness of the sea. Show the next one. Knowledge about the vast inner dimension makes the mind universal, free and fearless. So I think it is enough. We can go over to the shlokas now. We don't have time. See what is there next. Acha, this is only, I can just explain. The other day I said that as long as you don't know the depth of your mind, you will not be able to. The other day I was saying that a real a mind of a deeper dimension will be able to sustain much more of suffering, much more of happiness, bliss, everything. Actually, all of us have that dimension. It's not that somebody has the dimension. All of us have it. Because of ignorance, we are not utilizing it. We are attaching the mind to the small, small oscillations over the surface. Just like the waves are there. And we are thinking that the reflection of the moon is dancing with the waves. Actually, the waves are dancing. Nothing is happening to the moon. So, as much as we anchor ourselves to the true identity, our real Atma, we deepen the depth of the mind. The mind becomes the soul, means it becomes infinite in depth. A pure mind is the soul, we say. That means it becomes infinite in depth. All of us have that. Nobody misses it. But there is nobody who doesn't have it. But we miss it. All of us miss it because of our lack of knowledge in that. We can increase the depth to any level. And what happens is that, suppose here, the depth is 1 kilometer. Actually, the sea depth can be 14 kilometers, say 10 kilometer. In that, even there is a wave of 10 meter height or 100 meter height. The most of the vast mass of the sea remains undisturbed by that. Whereas in the top one, when it is 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter, even more than 1 centimeter oscillation, the water will spill off. Do you get the point here? In a shallow tray, even a small vibration will spill off the water. But in the sea, it is holding waves of 10 meters, 100 meters oscillation because of its depth. When it comes to the sides near the beach, the depth is gone, the waves break. That is why we have the breakers near the beach. Because the sea depth is reducing. As it reduces, the waves break. Finally, it becomes small, small ripples at the end. So, the more we increase the depth of our known mind, that means we are aware of the depth, we can hold any amount of suffering, any happiness also, without shaking, without anything getting disturbed. और कुछ है नहीं वो छोड़ दो दिखा दिया है पहले ठीक है बंद करो. Now we have to remember that we are going into the different aspects of action. What are the aspects of our being which are participating in each action? And knowing that, we will understand how that element can be made sattvic, so that interacting with the variety, with infinite variety of the world, we will be in touch with the unity. The whole purpose of spirituality is to discover the unity in diversity, unity in the infinite variety, and then remaining anchored in the unity, we have to interact with the variety. So the basic thing what happens is the bheda buddhi goes. Bheda buddhi means when we see the differences, our mind reacts with the raga dvesha, attraction and repulsion, or clinging to something, hating something. If that bheda buddhi goes, then in spite of the variety also our mind will not get disturbed at all. It will be, the bheda will become vaichitra in Sanskrit. Vichitra means all ornamentation. Suppose there is a golden bangle, one having some kind of a design, another having another kind of a design, another having another. You may like this, like that and all, but all are gold. So generally you will not be affected by the design so much. So he says, Panchaitani mahabaho karanani nibodhame Sankhye kritante proktani siddhaye sarvakarmanam. Sankhya, there are two things. One is Kapila Sankhya. Sankhya philosophy was given by Kapila Muni. That is called Kapila Sankhya. But in Bhagavad Gita, Sankhya Yoga, Sankhya is not the Kapila Sankhya. It refers to the Vedanta as Sankhya. So, Sankhye Kritante. Kritanta means Krita Anta. That means in the Vedas have got two divisions. The first one is called Karma Kanda, where all the rituals, Yaga, Yajna, everything, they are all actions. Various rituals, permitted actions, etc. That is called the Karma Kanda. And the last part is called the Vedanta. That means the end of the Vedas. That is the Jnana Kanda or Upanishads. Upanishads fall under that. So whether we say the Upanishads or the Jnana Kanda or the Vedanta, they are all the same. There is no difference at all. Vedas, generally we refer to the Vedas referring to the Karma Kanda, but it can as well refer to the Upanishads also, because Upanishads are also part of the Vedas. Vedas have got two parts. One is the ritualistic part, another is the knowledge part. That ritualistic part is called Karma Kanda of the Vedas, and the knowledge part is called Jnana Kanda, Vedanta, Upanishads. The Upanishads come under different Vedas. Various Upanishads are in various Vedas, like that of the four Vedas here and there. So Sankhya Kritante is same. Kritante means Krita Ante. Krita means that is referring to the ritualistic part. Krita means Karya. So Kritante means after completing the ritualistic actions and all, whatever is coming. That means the Vedanta, same. Sankhya Kritante is same. It is the Vedanta. He says that this has been defined that Pancha etani karanani nibodhame. You listen from here, understand from me these 5 causes which has been discussed in the Upanishads, in the Vedanta. That is what he is saying. Why they have discussed in the Vedanta? Siddhaye sarva karmanam. So that you can have the right fruition of all your actions. Now what is the actions here? What is the siddhi here? Here the siddhi of all our action, all our sadhana is to reach the transcendental goal. So to reach that unattached, untainted level of our personality, of our real identity, these have been discussed. That is the siddhe sarva karmana. Now he is defining all that. I will just read, tomorrow I will do it in detail, because each word has to be. We will chant a few verses, let us see. Adhishthanam tatha karta,
Adhishtanam tatha karta,
karanam cha prithak vidham,
karanam cha prithak vidham,
vividhascha prithak cheshta,
vividhascha prithak cheshta,
daivan chaivatra panchamam,
daivan chaivatra panchamam,
sharira vang manobhiryat,
sharira vang manobhiryat,
karma prarabhate naraha,
karma prarabhate naraha,
nyayam va viparitam va,
nyayam va viparitam va,
panchaite tasya hetavaha,
panchaite tasya hetavaha,
tatraivam sati kartaram,
tatraivam sati kartaram,
atmanam kevalam tu yaha,
atmanam kevalam tu yaha,
pashyatya krita buddhitvat,
pashyatya krita buddhitvat,
na sapashyati durmatihi, tatraivam sati kartaram,
tatraivam sati kartaram,
atmanam kevalam tu yaha,
atmanam kevalam tu yaha,
pashyatya krita buddhitvat,
pashyatya krita buddhitvat,
na sapashyati durmatihi,
na sapashyati durmatihi,
yasya naham krito bhavo,
yasya naham krito bhavo,
buddhiryasya na lipyate
बुद्धिर्यस्य न लिप्यते
hatvapi sa iman lokan
हत्वापि स इमान् लोकान्
nahanti na nibadhyate.
न हन्ति न निबध्यते.
Now this is one section. We will try to do it tomorrow fully. The last verse says, Yasya nahankrito bhavo buddhiryasya na lipyate hatvapi sa iman lokan na hanti na nibadhyate. It's very important. He says one who does not have the ahankara, that special posited I and attached to that. Buddhiryasya na lipyate. That means whose intelligence is not having lepana, means it is, you can say, the desire which is creating the buddhi, making the buddhi opaque. The any lepa means which is making the buddhi opaque. It is not able to clearly see. That means the viveka buddhi is not functioning. It is the Vishaya buddhi. Always the buddhi lepana means it is the Vishaya buddhi, the desire motivated buddhi. So, whose buddhi is free of lepana, buddhi is free of all dross. Lepana means dross. And whose mind is free of ahankara, hatvapi sa iman lokan. Even if he kills all these people, if he kills all these people, na hanti, na nibadhyate. He has not killed anybody. He doesn't get bound by such an action also. Killing is such an action, and killing so many people. He will not get any sin or any constriction of the mind by that. So the trouble lies, that is the goal lies in getting rid of the ahankara and the lepana of the buddhi. That means making the viveka buddhi free from all the dross of desire, sanga, kartritva, bhoktritva, everything. And the mind also free of the ego, the ahankara constriction from that. This is in answer to the first chapter, 44th verse, where just today beginning I said, Yat rajya sukha lobhena hantum svajanamudyataha. Arjuna said that I am going to kill my own kith and kin, my own grandfather and teacher, for rajya sukha lobha. So his mind, his buddhi was having the lepana. What is the lepana? That he was going to fight the war for rajya sukha lobha. That means greed for enjoying the kingdom. Rajya means kingdom, sukha means happiness, lobha means greed. Greed for enjoying the happiness which comes out of winning the kingdom. And here he is saying that if you kill the whole lot of being also, nothing will happen to you, provided your buddhi is clear, it sees that I am not doing for any personal gain at all, and not that I am doing anything. What I am part of this universe, of this nature. Whatever my body, mind, personality, whatever archery I have learned, according to that, whatever to be done, the right action, I have to do that only. I am doing that only. So it is not out of any. If you can kill Bhishma and Drona, who are most beloved and most respected, then you will have the dimension of the mind to kill Duryodhana also without any enmity. His mindset initially was, he was finding it difficult to fight with Bhishma and Drona, but he was always contemplating on killing Duryodhana. That means the enmity was having, that is also lepana of the buddhi. So when he can outlive the killing of Bhishma and Drona, he can outlive killing Duryodhana also with enmity. That an inimical part will go from him. That is the buddhi becoming free of that. We will take it up tomorrow from 14th to 17th, let's say. Prabuddham vimuktam vikārādihinam prasannam sada nitya bodhasvarupam param nishchalam nirgunam sarvarupam भजेऽहं सदानुस्मरामि प्रणौमि प्रबुद्धं विमुक्तं विकारादिहीनं प्रसन्नं सदा नित्यबोधस्वरूपं परं निश्चलं निर्गुणं सर्वरूपं भजेऽहं
सदानुस्मरामि
प्रणौमि। हरि